next up we have Clash on the Big Bridge, Final Fantasy V by the Black Mages, I assume. Once again, this is being recorded live on stream, and I'm going to be pausing a lot because the objective here that I have is to explain things to you as in layman's terms as much as I can, so you don't have to be a professionally trained musician to understand what is happening here musically. That is my goal. So if you like that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, make sure you're following all the social medias, and you're joining the Discord and all that good stuff. Let's get started. Oh, okay. Black Mages are a band made of Square Enix developers. Okay, so it's kind of like Heaven Piercer for so Nobuo Uematsu's rock band, so kind of like Heaven Piercer is for Hakita. Understood. So first thing we have here, I love these 80s, 90s synths. They are so nice. They are such a retro vibe, but I love their sound. It sounds so warm and fuzzy. It's awesome. So we start with the arpeggiation, with a very simple arpeggiation. Is it our motif? I don't know yet. The motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, kind of like a seed. I always make the analogy of it being a seed from which everything else comes out of. And there was a time signature change. Either a time signature change or an odd time signature. Odd time signatures, of course. Time signatures being the... Oh, let me clean up this mess over here. Time signatures being the amount of beats in a bar. The bar being just a standard measure, a bar or a measure for how much music is in a certain amount of time. The most standard that exists is for 4. The 4 on the number on the top is how many, the number on the bottom is the type of note. So 4 is for quarter notes, different names in different languages. So 4 is quarter notes, 2 is half notes, 1 is whole notes, 8 is eighth notes. So in English, it's probably one of the most straightforward things you have in English. So 4/4 is 4 quarter notes in a bar, in a measure. And in this case, it sounded like we have an odd time signature. Odd time signatures are, of course, odd timings. So it can be something like 5/8, 3/4, even though 3/4 falls in a special place, same as 6/8. They fall in a special place. They don't really count as odd time signatures. They're more like a dancing time signature. But things like 5, 7, maybe even 9, 11, 13, odd numbers that are not 3 will often be considered an odd time signature. Twitch acting up for anybody else? It's not for me. So good thing we have the alternatives, eh? So yes, we have this because, I don't know if you heard it, but the chord arpeggiation cut off. So let's hear it again from the start, right? So there you go. So there was this little moment it cut off. So this is an odd time signature. And now we slow it down. And... Woo! Oh! What a contrast! What a contrast! Oh my god! You weren't kidding when you said it was rock band. I thought it was gonna ease a little bit more. There you go. What a deceptive... I did not expect this. It was really fun. What a deceptive start. You start with this delicate, really tricky, like I was like, is this like an 11/16 kind of thing? Is this like an 11/8? What a dot 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 dot. Okay, what do we have here? What is going on here? And you just hit me in the face. This felt like a truck coming out of nowhere. So we have now the guitar going on, the drums going on, a really, really fun riff. Better to get through the game's backlog and get to play Final Fantasy games. Oh yeah, we're going to discuss that. So yeah, let's continue. So we have, okay, so I just wanted to hear the elements we have. We have a keyboard player. We have a keyboard with a synth that has some sort of like chimes on it. It's very cute. We have the guitar with the really, really fun. Usually there's two guitars in this. There's the bass and there's the drums. So it's how it was in the original soundtrack for 5. The start is how it was in the game. Then it goes into the interpretation of the band. Good. Oh yeah, you have two synths. You have one that is kind of just playing the chords and on one ear, and on the other ear, you have one that is just going completely insane. Arpeggiating like there's no tomorrow. Arpeggios, again, when you play a chord one note at a time, and he's going really fast. The guitar is doing this really fun pinch harmonic, which is a technique for the guitar that is, when the guitar sounds like, when it does that break between the chords, that is a harmonic. It's an entire other thing that I'm not going to get into because that takes way too long to explain. But it's basically the guitar ends up making a sound way higher than the string should at that point, and it is how the harmonic series works, is how sound waves work. Very specific thing to guitars. Basses have that as well. Strings have that in general. You can do that like with voice and everything. That's how throat singing happens a lot. And it's a lot of fun. So yeah, let's continue. Oh no, it's not two. It is not multiple synths. It is one, and it's being panned left to right, back and forth, while it is going at like 11,000 miles an hour. This is very interesting. We're gonna check that out later. Let me open it in the All right, there you go. Back to the original sound. This is the very, I remember this from the Final Fantasy VII that we've been playing, which we stopped because we're playing Expedition 33, but we're going to pick it up as soon as we finish Expedition 33. Yeah, this really, really cool kind of synth, kind of organ combination that Final Fantasy has had. I heard it in Final Fantasy VII. I hear it here in Final Fantasy V. I am hoping this goes on for a while because I really like the sound of this keyboard. It's really cool. And now I think we start with our motif. Let me hear. Yep, we have our motif. We got our motif. Developing the motif. And we're having... Okay, so we're having this... So we have the drums with the second guitar, the rhythm guitar, and the bass, keeping a steady rhythm, doing accompaniment for the lead guitar and the synth, which are doing a little bit of call and response, a little bit of counterpoint. Call and response being the concept of one instrument plays one thing, another instrument immediately follows up with a response kind of thing. And then counterpoint, the concept of multiple melodies that work well independently, working together in tandem. And we have this going on at the same time, kind of a tricky composition to do, especially considering the speed that they're going. Really fun. Sounds almost improvised, but it's not. Really good, really fun guitar. Diminished chord, building. So yeah, we got this is a very, very clear use of a diminished chord. Diminished chord used to create cadence. Cadence, of course, being building up tension. When you're making music, you're doing one of two things. One, you're building tension. Two, you are resolving that tension. There are many ways in which you can build tension. The most effective one is cadences. That is basically every time you build tension, it's going to be a cadence. Almost every time. There are some times which harmonically it just doesn't happen. And cadences are the expectation of resolution. And what is playing right now, this type of chord is called a diminished chord. I'm not going to get into the structure of that right now, but it is basically one of the most unstable chords that you can have. And the more unstable the chord, the more tension it makes. The more tension it makes, the stronger the cadence. The stronger the cadence, the stronger the resolution. However, using diminished chords can be tricky because of how the bass functions in these chords. Again, I'm not going to get into the full story of the harmony and everything over here, but let's just say diminished chords don't have as strong a resolution from the bass, which means you figure out other methods to exact that resolution. This is Nobuo Uematsu. He's gonna make it. Like 5 versions of the song made for different Final Fantasy games, which mostly speaks how iconic this became to the series. Oh, nice. Let me hear that again. We have the diminished. And the way we resolve this was with nothing. We removed the sound, we removed the harmony. We removed the harmony from everything for a couple of beats to have a short fill from the drums, couple of beats from the drums, and then you land the chord. I didn't know this was possible. I just learned something myself. You can resolve this like that. You just leave a little bit of silence. It's not full-on silence. But this was genius. I'm implementing this in my music. This was really, really good. Because, as I just said, the diminished chord has such a difficult time creating really strong resolutions because of how it lands and everything. So you just create a bar of relative silence. You just remove all chords, you just remove all melodies, so there's no more sound, so your brain fills it in for you. Your brain fills this in. This is the similar concept to the funniest song you've ever heard or the funniest joke by Monty Python, where they don't tell you what it is. They don't tell you what it is. They let your brain fill it out for you. And your brain just, since it can't fully figure out what it is, it just draws the conclusion for you. So in this case, it says, oh, these 2 beats, it resolved. It's strong. There you go. Really good. Ah, welcome back, Megami. And we go back to the motif. Oh, this is such a good motif. Oh, I love it. I love it. Where are we going? Oh, we are just fully repeating the... We are just repeating the... Okay. So we just did a full-on repeat. This is another type of structure. So if you've been watching the channel, you will have probably noticed how much we mentioned structure. Many times we focus on the A's and B's, which are the sections, and a lot of tracks we've seen are either A-B structures or A-B-A structures or rondos or stuff like that. I have a suspicion here. We'll see how it develops, because it's my first time listening to this song. I think this track might be an A-A-B-A structure. Not uncommon, we just hadn't discussed it before. So we have section A, which we have a small intro. We had that small intro with the keyboard. Then we had the A section with the whole diminished chord and everything. And then we just brought it back to the A section. Again, we're just repeating the whole thing as it was. There was this weapon and Thief and 5, and the track was just too hot for abandon. Yeah, there you go. There you go. This is really good. This is really good. So we have section A. Section A again. You just repeat everything the exact same way. Very, very... Yeah, needs a full orchestra, yes, but that's besides the point here. But yeah, really, really cool. And I didn't intend for this to look bigger, but the cool thing about it is with this repetition, now you're listening to this again, you're going to be able to pay attention to a few of the other things that have been happening. Let's see if I'm right. So when this happens, once we get past, this should repeat the whole thing, and by the time we reach that diminished chord, it's going to go into something contrasting a different idea. Let's hear it. Here we go, the diminished chord. Completely separate. Completely separate. We have reached section B with very unstable chords. Ooh. Okay, so very interesting change here. So usually when you do different sections, you want there to be some sort of fundamental contrast without fully taking away the essence of the song. You don't want your first sentence to be about one topic and your second sentence to be about something completely separate. You want that second sentence to build upon the first sentence that you made. So this unstable bridge that we're experiencing, the contrast is in the rhythmic section. A section the focus was entirely the leads. It was the keyboard with the organ sample synth that we have and the lead guitar. Now the focus is the backing, the rhythm, the drums, and the second guitar are the ones taking the spotlight, and the other two are playing along. Oh, that bass line! And we jump back, so it seems like the first part of B was that. Now we're back to... Oh, that was smooth. That was funky, yeah. And now a beautiful organ solo, keyboard solo. Ooh. Which, the good thing about solos is that you can have everybody else slow down. That bassline made me pregnant. There you go. You can have everybody else slow down and just let one of the instruments take the complete spotlight, and oh my god, is it doing it. This keyboard player, this is a different song, but it still contains a lot of the original, yeah. The guitars are not distorted either. The guitars are there, but they're not distorted. They have phasers instead. They have other effects. Oh! Now to a guitar solo, we speed up the drums a little bit more because, of course... Woo-hoo! Oh, that's a nice solo. Yep. And twin guitars. This is one of my favorite things when it comes to this. Informally, these are known as twin guitars, where you have two lines of guitars being played by, one guitar each. And they are harmonizing with one another. They are basically playing the same melody, but in different parts of the scale. These are relative melodies. We've talked about the concept of parallel scales versus relative scales. And in this case, we have the concept of a relative scale. So in a relative scale, you have 7 notes usually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then the octave is that you go back to 1. A parallel scale would mean that 2 scales start on 1 and the difference is in between. A relative scale is when 2 scales have the same notes but start from a different spot. So what usually happens when you have these twin guitars is that you have one guitar playing the melody starting from 1, and you have the second guitar starting from either 3 or 6. And they play the same, they play the same shape, the same overall melody. So, the melody is going, up a step, then a leap. So the first guitar is going to play 1, 2, and then 4. The other one is going to play 3, 4, and then 6. Or step, leap. So 1, 2. So 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 5. The other one is going to be 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 7. And they are both going to be playing conceptually the same thing. They're going to be moving the same type of movement in the scale. They're just going to be playing from different spots. They're just going to be starting their melody in different spots. Informally, we know this as twin guitars, very common in the metal community, or just harmonizing. These are just harmonies. Many people call them also harmonies. So, pretty sure Nobu is he's either in the keyboard or in the bass. And the keyboard has joined in the back with a variation. Nope, we came back to the second half of A. Oh. Interesting. Okay. Okay, just getting upgraded with paint and now you're paint. Thank you. Ooh. Another guitar solo. Oh, this is gonna fade out. No? Oh, and it ended. Hell yeah. So there you have it. Structurally, I was close. I was very close. This is an a type of variation of an AABA, because what we had here is that we had an intro, an A section, we repeated the A section, we went into the B section, and then we did something very peculiar. The last section was the second half of the A section and the first half of the B section for a very compressed AB. So we had AAB, AB, and then an outro for this song, and then outro for this track, sorry. Quick difference. A song is when it has lyrics, a track is when it's instrumental. That's semantics. We can still call them songs colloquially, but technically this is a track. There you go. But there you go. This is a very, very, very tricky thing to do, because then you have to be able to build A so that you can split it in half, and you build B so that you can split it in half. Not in absolutely nowhere, nothing here is accidental. And on top of everything, in the B section, because the second half of the B section was solos, which was pretty extensive. And then we had the AB. Very, very cool. This was very cool. Like the whole diminished chord into silence, I'm using that for my music. I'm absolutely picking that is actually pretty impressive. Thank you. I did kind of spend a good chunk of my adult life studying this, so I am glad that I can notice this. So there you go. So EDM music in general, their tracks. In general, their tracks, they call them songs because it's easier to just colloquially say songs. But yeah, nothing like is accidental. Nobuo Uematsu is a classic composer, 100%. Like I remember meeting one of his orchestrators once. He was just studying at Berkeley, and I was at the radio station, and he showed me an arrangement he was working on for Final Fantasy XIV, and it was insane. It was insane. He showed me like 30 seconds of it, and it was absolutely insane. So yeah, no, it's really good, and it's Nobuo Uematsu isn't one of the greatest video game composers for nothing. And this goes to show, doing this, the A-B, the compressed, like second half of A, first half of B, and then to build up to the outro, that level of thinking through for what is essentially a fun rock track, is insane. Mad respect for this. I learned a lot with this. I'm learning a lot with these as well. So, no, Uematsu doesn't do accidental. You should hear him talking about how he wrote The One-Winged Angel. we're gonna have to look more into this, man, because this is insane. It shows how much attention to detail this has, which makes the intro that much more confusing to me. But at the same time, it was there. Like the motif played in the intro was there. It was there. It was just confusing at first. It was difficult to put up where everything was and everything. But there you go. That was Clash on the Big Bridge from Final Fantasy V by the Black Mages, the Nobuo Uematsu rock band. This was beyond insane. Oh my god, this was beyond insane. This was absolutely brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And there you go. This is where we're going to leave this one. If you liked this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're watching on the YouTube. Like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. Join the Discord as well. Join the lives. We do those. We aim for 5 times a week. Schedule is on the Twitch and on the Discord. And if you want to request a song and you're not watching this on the live streams, just leave a comment. Video game music only, but let me know what track from what game, and we will put them in the queue for when we record these. We are going to be increasing the number of times a week when we do these, because 2 times a week is proving to not be enough. So yeah, there you go. Clash on the Bridge by Black Mages. Really, really good stuff. I loved it.